Hello, I'm Mark Power Robison. I'm a faculty member in the USC Rasir School of Education, and I'm chair of the Global Executive Doctor of Education program. This video is to give you a quick overview of the program to complement some of the materials that you can find on our website. The Global Executive EdD is a unique professional doctoral program designed for educational leaders from around the world to allow you to keep living where you live and working where you work, but to participate in a rigorous doctoral program to prepare you for even higher levels of educational leadership. Our curriculum's built around delivering the kinds of skills and knowledge that 21st century education leaders need, and to do that in a way that makes sense for busy executives. Our focus for the program is to prepare what we call transformational leaders, or sometimes we refer to it as change agents. We want our students and our graduates to be capable of envisioning positive change in educational institutions and systems and even across entire nations, and to have the skill set to implement those changes for the benefit of learners of all ages, children and adults in societies around the world. So how do we do this? Our program is built around three curricular streams. And when we say streams, we mean sets of courses that are on related themes. And I'll talk about those in a moment, but those three streams are problem solving, creativity and innovation, and advancing policy. And then another big component of our program, as in any doctoral program, is the doctoral dissertation, which is closely integrated into the coursework. And I'll also talk about that in a moment. But another distinguishing factor of our program is the format, whereby students live and work all over the world and participate in low residency, very intensive in-person sessions, which occur in Los Angeles and in Hong Kong, Helsinki, and in another location which we announce for each cohort to really complement the learning that that group is doing. So to talk about those three curricular streams, the first of them is problem solving. This is really the heart of the Global Executive EdD, and it's about preparing people to be the change agents to which I referred earlier. Problem solving is both a set of courses where people learn a variety of problem solving approaches to improve the effectiveness of organizations, particularly learning organizations like schools and universities, but also other types of learning organizations. But also it keys into our dissertation, because the dissertation is focused on organizational problem solving, and so the curriculum and the problem-solving stream supports the works that students do in the dissertation process itself. Creativity and innovation is the second of those three curricular streams, and that's really about helping people be entrepreneurial, creative leaders who can think differently, to envision a different kind of future or a different kind of set of outcomes for an educational organization, and then to make that a reality. And so there are some aspects of that that come from the business world and business curriculum. And in fact, there's a professor from our USC Marshall School of Business who teaches one of the courses in that stream. But others are about looking at educational innovation and pedagogical innovation and technology, and how all of those other things in society can be harnessed by educational organizations to improve the learning that people do and to do it in the most effective ways possible. Advancing policy is the third and final of those curricular streams. Policy is critically important for educational organizations, and we want our students and our alumni to be very sophisticated in their understanding of the policy process. So both in terms of how to implement policy and to utilize it, but also how to make policy and to influence its creation to ensure that the policy environment in their organization or in their system or in their nation is the most effective it can be to promote learning. Now, as I mentioned, the doctoral dissertation is the heart, the center of any doctoral program, and that's no different in the Global Executive EdD. But we have a number of unorthodox approaches to the dissertation that are important to understand. Probably the most important thing is to know that with most doctoral programs that are 4 or 5 or 6 years long, a student does their coursework and then does the dissertation. And so those are often sequential, where there's one and then the other, or maybe they overlap a little bit. In the Global Executive EdD, we've overlapped them almost entirely, and we start talking about the dissertation and dissertation topics literally on the first day of classes. Students don't have to come in with a dissertation topic, but we start talking about what the dissertation looks like and what a topic could be. And over the first 5 months in the program, students identify and refine a dissertation topic, and by 6 months into the program, they're already working on their dissertation. So students work on the dissertation while accomplishing other coursework, and in fact, the dissertation is deeply integrated into courses. So each chapter of the dissertation is in large part or entirely accomplished within a course. So instead of sitting down and looking at a cursor blinking at you on a screen and thinking, now I've got to write a book, which I've never done before, or I've got to write the first chapter of a book, instead you write the chapter that you're writing as a series of assignments in a class. So you write a few pages on this and a few pages on that, each responding to different prompts, different assignments in a course. And once they've all been written in draft form, you put them together and you have the first draft of that chapter. And each of the chapters is constructed in this way so that it occurs in a class environment, which is very much like the things that you've done elsewhere in your academic career. And it's very supportive, with other students writing the same parts of their own dissertation at the same time in those classes. Each student's writing their own dissertation, but by doing it in a group where others are writing theirs at the same time in the same way, there's opportunities for lots of collaboration and support. We also have what are called our thematic dissertation groups, where each student is part of a group of students working with the same dissertation chair or dissertation advisor who's guiding them in their work. And that gives further opportunity for those students to collaborate, share ideas, critique each other's work, even while they're each working on their own dissertations. So through these different approaches, we're able to have students complete the doctoral dissertation and the coursework simultaneously, which allows us to have this program be only just a little over 2 years. And so 25 months after a student begins the program, a student completes the program and is finished with their dissertation. And that accelerated executive format, we find, is really important for a number of our students who, as busy professionals who are well into their careers, have a real premium on their time. Now, I mentioned that there are a number of different in-person sessions in different locations. There are actually 9 of them, and you can read more about that on our website. But the thing to know about them is that each one begins and ends online, but the heart of each in-person session is that time together where students come to Los Angeles, to Hong Kong, to Helsinki, and share their experiences. We utilize what's called the flipped classroom approach, where students do all the preparation in advance of that, back living where they live, and often asynchronously, although not entirely. There are some synchronous online classes, but mostly students use the time before an in-person session to do all the reading and to write some preliminary things and perhaps watch some lectures that we've captured on video, so that when students do come together in LA or Hong Kong or in our other locations, that time's focused on the things that can best be done or can only be done when we're all in one room together. Discussion, debate, collaboration, site visits, sharing of professional experiences. That's exactly what we do when we spend that time together. Now, there are 9 of these in-person sessions for a total of 11 weeks. And so actually, over 70% of the work that one does in the Global Executive EdD is accomplished in person during those sessions, and only a little bit under 30% is online. So it's a hybrid low residency program, but it's mostly in person, and it's complemented by the online content. The last thing I'd say really is about the experience of being in the program with the other students. We put a huge premium on ensuring a great diversity of highly accomplished professionals are in each cohort. And you can look at the bios of our current students and our alumni on our website. But what you'll see when you do look at those bios is that they're from all over the world. They're very accomplished people, and they're from the widest possible variety of societies in terms of religion and culture and race and ideology and political systems. There's great diversity in terms of their academic preparation. Some have done all their degrees in education. Some come from business or law or medicine or government. And there's also great diversity in terms of people's interests, whether they're looking at primary, secondary, tertiary, or higher education, or they're interested in education in other non-formal settings, like training environments. So there's this wealth of people who are in the cohort that one is in, and they're a huge part of the learning environment. As much as the other faculty and I have worked to make a really fascinating, engaging current curriculum, a big part of the learning is done with students learning from each other, because you gather people with 15, 20, 25, 30 years of professional experience in a room, and you get 20 or so of them, or 24, and there are hundreds and hundreds of years of professional experience that people can all learn from. And that's a big part of the program too. Lastly, I'd say that a number of the cohorts have lots of opportunities to work together. And so students don't just get to know the 24 or so students in their own cohort, but the students ahead of them and behind them in the program and the alumni. And of course are part of what we call the Trojan family, which at USC refers to everybody who's part of the USC community. So that's hundreds of thousands of alumni all over the world. And that's a really powerful professional network that our students and our alumni utilize. So that's a brief overview of the Global Executive EdD. I hope that you'll be interested in the program, that you'll take the time to read more of the materials on our website, and of course that you'll feel free to contact me or my colleagues in our office. Our contact information is available on the website. Thank you.